Evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Listen with Vobes. I'm Richard Vobes, and I've got myself all warmed up here in the studio for, again, I'm going on the motoring around the country in the company of James John Hissey, who wrote at around about 1909 and published in 1910 this charming book called The Charm of the Road. He wrote several books of this ilk, and if you've just come along for the very first time, this is chapter 5 that we are going to be reading. And once again, I have at the ready Google Maps and also side-by-side geo-referenced maps. And if you want to follow along, you are very welcome. I will put this link into the chat and you'll be able to follow that if you so wish. There we go, that's the link. And you can follow where we go. I've no ideas yet, so at the moment, as you can see, and I'm using the OS 6-inch 1888 to 1913 maps, which would have been pretty much the maps he would have used. And in this little box here, I can't actually move it and I can't scroll down at the moment. This is where you'll find it. I don't get the whole screen on this for some reason. I wonder if I can do that. There we go, look. There it is. So that's where you choose it in there if you want to follow along. And then this will come clearer as we zoom in. I can't remember where we were the last time, but it was somewhere near Sidcup, if I remember rightly, actually. So you can put in here, I'm doing it as we go, Sidcup, and you'll see then we can get rid of all of these things. And oh yes, it was Footscray, and he was down at the caves, if I remember correctly. So anyway, there we are. And I've got a different hat on today and a different outfit. You might need your driving gloves on because it is quite chilly out there, although he was going in the summer. So this is not a fair representation of what it was like. But anyway, I've got a little drink here of water. So let's see where we go. A few people turning up this evening. Hello, Sean James Cameron, and hello, Jane. Sean says, I've been to Footscray, part of the London Loop Walk. There you are. Did you ever go down into the caves nearby? Right, chapter 5 is where we are. If only I could find the page. Here it is. Let's see how far we get. So he went to Orpington, didn't he? Orpington. Actually, let's just find Orpington on the map. That's right. So it wasn't quite Sidcup. He gets down to Orpington, which you can get to on the M25. Orpington. Let's have a quick look at that. Orpington, we get both maps side by side, which is very handy. We'll zoom out a bit. You can see it's very close to London. There's London, look. And I've lost Orpington now. Let's just try to type that in again. Orpington. And it's taken me... What did I type? I typed something else. Orpington. Isn't that right? Orpington? Yeah. Good. So, and there it is, Orpington. So he's gonna leave there. Right, okay, good. We're well away. We're well away. Caves at Chislehurst, yes, I'm thinking of the same ones. Yes, that's right, Chislehurst, which was, and then he went down to Orpington. I forget, you know. Trouble is, Julia and I are reading another book, not by him, but by a different author, to ourselves, and it's very easy to get confused on where each of these are. Anyway, leaving Orpington, we drove along a narrow lane, narrow without the virtue of being pretty, a lane that ended in a smooth, wide highway, which we followed for several uninteresting miles of constant rise. We kept to the highway under compulsion, for we saw no promising by-road out of it, only rough, stony lanes and bridle tracks that climbed the hillsides, apparently leading merely to lonely farmsteads or even, perchance, ending in a chalk pit. However, in time, our highway plucked up a little spirit and for a space became even mildly romantic, where it sharply descended through the overhanging woods on one side and a steep cliff on the other. So he's obviously up there on the south, on the North Downs is where I'm suspecting. So let's just have a look. So I've no idea whether he's gone east and west. Sorry, I'm doing this and you can't see. I'm going to go back to the, if you follow the link where it says right at the top, georeference maps, you get the full page. Here, you see, there's, I've lost Orpington now. There it is. So he's gone somewhere, but who knows where. But I am suspecting that he has gone up onto the North Downs because he talks a bit of a rise, and he must have gone south because he didn't want to go north because he detests London, doesn't he? Right, at the foot of the descent, we found ourselves in the overgrown village of Riverhead. Riverhead. Let's see if we can find that just briefly. I hope this isn't too distracting finding these places. You'll have to let me know. Riverhead. And so let's see where that is. I'm going to go back to side by side just so that I can see what part of it. Yeah, that does look about right. So let's zoom in on Riverhead. And Riverhead is now not an overgrown village at all. Looks very... Oh, sorry, you can't see. It looks... I keep forgetting. Here we go. Look at that. It's very industrial, but I can't see where it says Riverhead. High Meads. So all of this is likely to have been grown on. Let's go to the Ordnance Survey. Riverhead, Sevenoaks. Oh, right, okay, so it's near Sevenoaks. There we go. And where is Riverhead? Doesn't actually come up, but it's somewhere. It's somewhere in this, an overgrown village. You'd think it would come up. Force Green, Horsey Hill, Toys Hill. Toys Hill sounds fun, doesn't it? Dunton Green, Otford, but no River's Head, near Sevenoaks. So it may have been swallowed up. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. We'll see what he says. We'll just carry on reading. Do follow along with the maps if you can, and then you can tell me interesting things, and you can put the link. If you find interesting things that he references and you find the photographs of them, put them in the link in the description, and then I can put it on the screen. Sean says Riverhead is a northern village, part of the urban area of Sevenoaks in the district in the same name, Kent. Well, that's interesting. North of there. See, it must have got swallowed up, mustn't it, Riverhead? I can't find it on there, but never mind. Anyway, the overgrown village of Riverhead, whose only picturesqueness today is its name, for the modern builder is very much in evidence there with his numerous brick cottages without any saving sign of grace about them. So there we go, 1909, and already the metropolis is being constructed. Over 100 years ago. It's quite staggering, isn't it? The modern builder of cheap houses is the greatest spoiler of scenery I know, and alas, he penetrates everywhere. James John Hissey. Just go through a time machine and come to the present day. You will realise that the modern builder is a bounder and has built everywhere. An aggressively prim and proper 19th century church did not help matters. A church which looked as it had scuttled to its place and pulled extempore a Sunday face, too smugly proper for a world of sin, like boys on whom the minister comes in. We made our way out of Riverhead by a retired road that we happily espied, glad to escape from the monotonous highway. We struck upon a lovely quiet valley, a valley with gentle sloping hills either side to enclose it from the outer world, hills dappled just then with gleams of sunshine and the purple-grey shadows of clouds. A clear, flowing little river, bright and cool, ran alongside our road and kept us cheerful company. And what a companionable thing a river can be to the lonely wayfarer. So he's going down along a river. Let's see if we can see that on the map here. So I don't know where that was, but obviously it was sort of somewhere around here. Looking hard for a little river. There's some streams here. I wonder if he was talking about this road, the A25. That seems to be the main road, because the M25 wouldn't have been built back then. So who knows? He says, Sean says it's next to Chipstead. You've just passed it, damn it. Oh yes, here we go. Riverhead, here it is. There. And let's just, for the sake of the fun of it, I want to see how miserable it is today. Here we are, Riverhead. Let's have a look. So these, I mean, all these houses are modern. These houses wouldn't have been there. This whole estate. Oh, look at all of this. In 1900s. Not much to see, to be honest. Anyway, let's come out of that. Now we know where it is. Let's go back here for a second. Chipstead Common. Where's the compass gone? It's funny, the old compass. Is the compass here? Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, so Riverhead was somewhere above Chipstead. Let's go on this map. And let's put Chipstead in then. Chipstead. Where the hell is that? Oh, it does seem to be in the right place. And, oh yeah, here's all the woods. Chip House. Old Chalk Pit. Banstead Wood. Highhurst. Chipstead. Here we go. Chipstead. So the village, where's the village of an overgrown... But look at it. You know, you can see how countrified it was 100 years ago. I mean, I'm always staggered. I can't find it anyway. London County Lunatic Asylum. Marvellous. There's Chipstead. I can't quite see. Chipstead Common. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. But it does look like a Riverhead Infant School. Which way is he going? Where is he going? Let's return to the book. Return to the book and read some more and live our life with fun and gaiety. So anyway, he carried on. What did we do? Following the river. A clear flowing little river, bright and cool, ran alongside our road and kept us cheerful company. And what a companionable thing a river can be to the lonely wayfarer. A river, claimed George Eliot, seems like a living companion to me as I wander along its bank and listen to its low, placid voice, as to the voice of one that is living. The liquid gurgling of the running water, what a soothing sound it has. It seems to have some message to convey, but who can translate that message into words? There is always life. There is always life of some kind by a river. Thither the angler and the artist come at times. There are old mill wheels slowly turn and hum. The birds gather and the lazy cattle find their way, standing in the water, the picture of idle contentment. Though you be far inland, remote from everywhere, a river brings you in touch with all the world. For the most slothful, one finds its winding way to the sea, where you are free of the earth. The river is but a moving rod. As we journeyed on through this pleasant land, we drove into a little old-fashioned town, asleep in the sunshine. There was something about the place that took our fancy. Not that it was picturesque, for it was hardly that, but because it was so homely and natural, a simple country town with rather a quaint inn, showing on its big swinging signboard a bold and effective representation of St. George and the Dragon. Where do you suppose we could be? As the old saying has, a bold signboard brings the customers. Beyond this, there was nothing notable about its wide sunny street, only a general look of pleasantness. We stopped to inquire the name of the place and found that we were in Westerham. 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 Let's get into Westerham, see if we can find the George and Dragon and see if it is still there. So no idea. I'm going to cheat here and do it this way. Westerham. And that looks like it could be the George and Dragon. And it is. Look, there's the George and Dragon in Westerham. Let's have a look at it. Is that it? The George and Dragon, ladies and gentlemen. And there it is. 100 years ago, oh, sorry, I'm not showing you. 100 years ago, I do keep doing that in today's show. I must keep showing you. There it is. Beautiful old building, isn't it? Look, people are sitting outside that exterior bit. But I wonder what it was like. So let's have a look in here. Chipstead. I wonder where Westerham is on there. I'm going to have to cheat. Westerham. And now, I wonder if we can find the George and Dragon on there. There's a lot of rivers and stuff. So he must have been following this river here, coming down the river Darent. There's the church. I'm looking to see if it says an inn. Lodge. But a nice, public house. There we go. That must be it there. I'm reckoning. That's where I think it must be. And back up that road to the east is the church. And we can confirm that by if we go back up this road here, come out a bit, presumably there's the church. Hang on a minute, I've lost it. I've gone down a side street here. There's the church, there's the steeple. Open the doors, where's all the people? Let's quickly have a look at the church if we can get to it. It's quite nice, Westerham, isn't it? I didn't realise it was... We can't get any closer than that. Well, we might be able to. But anyway, let's see if he goes to the church or not. He may not go to the church. He may avoid all that. He may just keep going. Sean tells me I've got it. Nigel Farage drinks there. Well, it's a very nice looking place, doesn't it? Right, so he gets into Westerham. Where is it? Westerham. Now, Westerham had a familiar sound to me, though for the moment I couldn't remember why. Suddenly, however, I remembered that only a short time before I'd been reading in the Life of General Wolfe that he was born at Westerham, and how, besides that famous soldier on the very night of his attack on Quebec, had recited to his officers Gray's Elegy, then recently publishing, declaring, "I would rather have written that, gentlemen, than to have the honour of taking Quebec." So humble-minded a man was he, as many great men mostly are. Well, I'm not sure about that, but there we are. I wonder whether any of them, any presentiment of his approaching fate came to him as he reached the now familiar line, "The paths of glory lead but to the grave." There is just a possibility, I thought, that the house in which that hero was born may still be standing. At least there can be no harm in making an inquiry. At the same time, I was prepared, indeed most expected, that whosoever I asked would know nothing about Wolfe or his birthplace. But in this I was agreeably disappointed. The man in the street of whom I sought the information at once pointed to the house. "That's the place where General Wolfe was born," he responded. "The man that took Gibraltar." This historical slip we gladly forgave. Quebec, you mean, I explained. Well, if it were one or the other, came the reply, and then the man hurriedly went his way. I'm afraid he felt hurt at the correction, which made me wish I'd said nothing. I have known the public schoolboy make a worse historic blunder with small sense of shame. An American traveller once observed, England is a small island, apparently mostly composed of dust. What? Composed of the dust of heroes. It's an interesting observation. Probably the American overlooked the fact that the sacred dust of many of the island race rests in far-off lands, and some rests fathoms deep in the restless sea. But Britain bred them all. You cannot travel in England and escape the stories past, the spacious days of old, for it is a land of ancient memories. Here again at Westerham we had unexpectedly come upon history, glorious history, not the sad note it strikes in such places as Berkeley Castle, where a king was murdered, or Fotheringhay Castle, where a queen was executed. I prefer my history bright and inspiring, and generally I find it so. The house in which General Wolfe was born stands nearly at the east entrance to the town. Now we're going to see if we can find this by the description he gives. Excuse me. It is a comfortable-looking, old-fashioned house, long and rather low, with a yellow-washed front at the time of our visit, which gave it a cheerful appearance. It stands close to the roadside, with only a narrow strip of a garden between. To make sure, we asked another man, a local tradesman, we took him to be, who was passing, and asked if this was the house in question. He assured us that it was, and even pointed us out to the 3 lighted window of the room to the extreme left of the building where the important event happened. We were delighted to find that the memory of Wolfe was so carefully preserved in Westerham. It is not always, alas, that heroes are so well remembered locally, for their fame is fleeting. The uneventful today looms larger in the eyes of country folk than the eventful days that are past. Their memories are, at the best, mostly limited to their lifetimes. So let's see, at the eastern end, I think he said, a low house with a special window. So let's just come back out of the map here. Now we've got to decide, east would be this way, and I'm wondering where it could possibly be, because you suddenly get into all the new builds. So I'm wondering if it's around here somewhere. Let's just plonk our little chap, or chapess. Could it be that one? Or could it be that one? Long and low, he said, didn't he? Let's go, oops. Oh, for goodness sake, let's go back down here. I'm looking to see if there's a plaque, you know, a blue plaque. You suddenly get out here into, oh, wait a minute. A snip of a garden. Wells Place. Has anybody found it from the description? There's an old corner shop, look. Nice. Difficult to tell, but he did say a 3-windowed thing, didn't he? And I can't help feeling there's 3 sort of little windows here, but no plaque. 100 years ago, that is just close, with a snip of a garden, possibly. But has anybody got it on A25, he says? Where, I don't know where the A25 is now. See, that's the old High Street. That is the A25. Anyway. Maybe it's down. Is it down here? See, there's some old houses here. It's not that important, but it's always nice to see. There's a house. Anything? You are on the right street. Yes, I'm on the right street. Have you found it, Sean? Have you found it? It's always interesting. General Wolf. There might be a picture of it somewhere. Is this it? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. See, when they say it's you're probably bored rigid now by all of this. Here we go. Could this be it? Snip of a garden. Anyway, beautiful houses as you can see. And let's not waste any more time on all of that, because time is of the essence. Is it really? Well, I don't know. Let's read more. See where we go. Right, where are we? The house in which we're done a comfortable looking house, old-fashioned, long, rather low. The house in which Wolfe was born is today, as it's always been, a private house and has not been degenerated into a mere showplace, which personally I feel a fortunate circumstance. To view the room in which the famous man first saw the day of light, as the guidebook compilers love to put it, always leaves me cold. It merely satisfies idle curiosity. For what power has a man over his birthplace? If he had any, certain great poets and other notable men would, perchance, have selected more romantic spots than was their lot for that important event. Well, absolutely. Where would you prefer to be born? That would be the question I would ask. But to see the loved back room, favourite easy chair, desk, or actual handwriting of the man who has made for himself a name in this struggling world is possibly to glean something of his personality. These he has graced. They are individual and hallowed. A past presence seems to linger with them. You need not be a relic worshipper to prize them. They are something more than mere meaningless relics. Anyway, even when curiosity prevails and you gain admission to a house to see a room in which a famous man was born, you must not always be too sure of seeing the right room. If the following extract from a London paper of a year or two ago is true, the room shown in Eccleshan, as the one where Carlyle first saw the light, and in which the Americans shut their eyes to dream of his baby cot, is merely so exhibited by the present inhabitants of the house to suit their own convenience. The other room, as they sometimes explain, namely the real birthplace, is full of odds and ends, and too small besides to make a good showroom, so the larger room has been promoted. Holly & Co. says, Richard, you're bundled up. Next time, grab hot water bottle and a 2-fingered brandy to keep you... that's a good idea. A brandy. I should have a brandy. It probably improve the reading. Cheers, everybody. I must go and get some brandy. I like brandy. Just below Wolfe's birthplace, on the opposite side of the road, is Quebec House. Where the Wolfe family lived afterwards. Right, Wolfe, what was that? Quebec House. So let's see if we can find Quebec House, Westerham. There will be the clue. So, how are we spelling that? Quebec House, Westerham. And is it National Trust? Right. So how far out of... I was looking on the wrong direction. Why do I get my east and wests mixed up? I thought he said... He did say east. I went the wrong way. So here we go. So, right. That must be the house where he was born. Oh, and there's the windows, look. Or was it one of these? Wait a minute. I'm getting confused now. There's this lovely big house here, which has to be it. That has to be West Quebec House. Very nice. Look at that. Big chimneys. And I'm looking for the plaque. There's got to be a blue plaque, surely. Wait, there's a plaque. Would it have been in there, do you think? It's got a plaque on that door. Can't read it. And there's the place opposite. So I'm going to guess that's it. I'm going to guess. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So there we go. So that's General, whatever his name was, Wolfe. Old Wolfe. Right. Just below Wolfe Birthplace, on the opposite side of the road, is Quebec House where the Wolfe family lived afterwards. A charming, time-worn, gabled manor house. Yes, that's what it is. There we go. Look at that. Hang on. A gabled manor house. Look at that, you see? Gabled manor house. I've read that so many times now. I'm fed up with it. Where is the bloody word gabled manor house? Just below is a gabled manor house of Elizabeth's day, when men knew how to build both well and picturesquely. A house of no great size, but of much beauty in spite of alterations. And it looks very splendid, does it not? I wish we built such houses nowadays. Well, I do. We perhaps we should, if we built for posterity, as our forefathers did, with their pride of doing so, and not for temporary dwelling, as is mostly the case. And the thing is, he has no idea of what's going to happen in 1909. He has no idea of the First World War, the Second World War, the 1960s, the brutalist architecture that came in, the building down of that, and then the big destruction, and then all this mean architecture and the new builds that desecrate this wonderful land. He has no idea of all of that is happening. Richard, link above for the blue plaque you were looking for, says Julia. Ah, here we go. And there it is. Oh. So, hang on. If that is the house... Oh, that's William Pitt. That's not the same geezer. Just down the road, though, somewhere. That's William Pitt. That's the wrong one. Sorry to say. So it's somewhere here. Oh, look, Quebec House. There it is. And look at that. It's got a benchmark on it. Quebec House. And was all that land theirs? Look at all that. Lovely. Lodge Brewery. I love these old maps. I could spend ages. St. Mary's Church, we looked at that. Brilliant. Okay. Thank you very much. So, we too frequently have many homes during our lives, not one. An estate agent in a large watering place once told me that the average length of a resident's stay there was under 7 years. The sentiment of long abiding in one spot is repugnant to our restless age. Not to me, I've been here 33 years so far. So the old home, where son succeeded father, generation after generation, is becoming rarer and rarer. The new home is generally built by contract at the lowest tender and looks it. That is, when we trouble to build a house at all, and not merely lease one, adapting ourselves to the best we can as a hermit crab fits itself into a shell. The new conditions do not make for beautiful building. But how can they? Take almost any country town and compare the modern houses there with the old times, often alongside, and how great is the contrast in favour of the old, picturesquely considered. The modern building lacks both interest and beauty. It is not built by craftsmen who delight in their task, but by workmen who have turned into machines, and you cannot get the feeling or individuality out of a machine. Isn't that so true? Does that not speak to you, gentle listener, sitting by your fireside in your Persian slippers, with your smoking jacket and your smoking hat and the pipe dribbling from your mouth and puffing out at the smoke, thinking of the wise words that James John Hissey has just pronounced? It is so true. These houses that once were built by craftsmen, I'm not saying this one particularly because this is a Victorian, and maybe he was having a jibe at even the type of house I live in, an up, two down Victorian. Although I've been here this long, it has become me. I mean, there's a lot of me in this house. The mason and carpenter of today are skillful enough, but it is skill without imagination. They trust wholly to the prepared plan and to the foot rule, which entails no great thinking. So their work is so uninspired and uninteresting. There is no happy accident about it. Even age, though it may soften the harder features of a modern building down, it cannot give it grace. It cannot make it less ugly. I've noticed that in old buildings, seldom is a window, a gable, or a doorway absolutely true to the main lines of the structure. Generally, the deviation is but slight and only apparent when looked for. Nevertheless, it is there, and it is this very irregularity that unconsciously pleases the eye. There is no soulless uniformity about it. So true, so very true. The old builders gave much thought to good, and therefore pleasing proportions, not only to the whole, but to the details of the windows, the doorways, the gables, the roofs, the chimneys, and though not exact to inches as to the placing of them, they studied the mass and did not trouble overmuch with the precise position of the details. I'm sure they tried. They were not mere human machines. They used their eyes and their brains more than the foot rule, and builded better than they knew. Isn't that lovely? I think that's marvellous. Just outside Westerham, we passed Squirry's Court, a mellow old brick mansion set in a beautiful and undulating park where fine beeches flourish. Now, I'm spelling this Squurrys. Squurrys. Let's see if we can find that now. SQU, what did I say it was? ERRYES, Court. Now it's taking us down here out of Westerham, and I wonder if we can see it. We're not allowed to go there, but wow, here we go. Look at that, Squurrys Court. So we might need to go and get a picture of it. SQUERRYES CORT, and see. Oh, right, here we go. Images. So you can see it looks a splendid building. It's not a very close-up picture. It says here a family home situated at Westerham has been lived by the Wards for over 280 years. Experience the warm welcome of this beautiful 17th century manor house still lived in by John Ward, who purchased Squurrys, I don't know if that's the right pronunciation, from the Earl of Jersey in 1773. That, can you see this? I'm just going to lower that. That picture there, that picture is in my house. And it was painted by Barry E.C.C. Clark, I think his name is. I've got that picture. It's a famous picture. People have got it up and down the country. Barry got in touch with me. I've spoken to him on the phone. He is 80-something. Julia and I are going to see him. He lives on the Romney Marshes now. He didn't make a lot of money out of that painting, although it is everywhere. That is a very famous painting. And actually, that painting, Barry Clark Spitfire, just as this is a by the way, Barry Clark with an E, Spitfire. This painting, here it is. Let's look at this. You probably will recognize this. I've got this on my wall. The story behind this Barry A.F. Clark, that's right. The story behind this, if I can get this to come up. Hang on. The story behind this picture, that was supposed to be a ace World War I fighter pilot. And he was going to paint that. But something happened. I can't remember what the story is now. And in the end, it turned out to be a Spitfire. And I had a lovely telephone conversation with him about that. And a lovely man. And I want to go and see him and get him on the show. He's in the Romney Marshes. I will ring him up. I've got his phone number on my phone. Really nice chap. Anyway, so there we go. How about that? That was marvellous. So Squire's house, there it is. Down there, Squeery's, is it Squeery? Squeery's Court. Great big pond there. There's the house, presumably, and all the gardens. And as we saw over there, and there's the pond, back garden, probably a ha-ha. Oh, there's probably the ha-ha or a garden wall. Lovely. Fascinating, isn't it? It's amazing how one of these books can take you off on a journey and you just meander along. All good fun. Right, where are we? So, a pleasant home as may be found in all the land. In this park, Wolfe, when a lad, used to play soldiers and fight mimic battles with the son of the then owner and other boys from the school in the town that they all attended. Here first was Wolfe with martial ardour fired, runs the inscription on the stone monument set up in his memory in the grounds. I think that if Wolfe could come back to life again and revisit the scenes of his early exploits, he would note but little, if any, change since he played soldiers there before he played the game in real earnest. It is one of those remote rural spots that seems simply to mark time, a bit of old England set in the midst of the new, where the centuries come and go unheeded by. Such quaint haunts as these have bred many brave and gallant men. Perhaps their very quietness has acted as a spur to urge enterprising spirits out of them. And honest ambition is no evil thing. Rather, it is a healthy stimulus to prevent an able man rusting his soul away. Happy the man whose wish and care a few paternal acres bound, content to breathe his native air in his own ground. Sings Pope. But such men do not help to build empires or keep them. Honour to be to Wolfe. Anyway, shortly after Westerham, we climbed onto the high and open ground of Limpsfield Common, relatively high to the surrounding country. That is for itself no great elevation, my Ordnance Survey map marking it only as a little over 500 feet. Still, the blue sky above looked bluer and further away than in the valley below with its denser, damper air. And the wandering wind, laden with the freshness of open fields and wild flowers, blew refreshingly upon us with just a suspicion of keenness that made the warmth of the sun welcome. The sun in England is nearly always a friend, not, as in the more southern lands, an enemy to be guarded against. Absolutely. It is a good thing for country dwellers to have these wide open spaces, flushed with pure air and sunshine, to wander over at liberty. There is just sufficiency of wildness and a feeling of freedom about them that appeals to, if it does not wholly satisfy, the inherited instincts of the primitive man who once was free upon the earth. Commons, heaths and moorlands, disorder inland of order, come as a relief after the cramped monotony of hedge-bound fields, on which latter, moreover, is a trespasser. Even a village green, I would all villages had their green, gives in some small measure a sense of openness, a spot of escape from the dusty highway and the soft green sward under one's feet. He's complaining of the dusty highway there. Cheers. Oh, my foot. And yet, here, with botheration, we have tarmac and paving slabs everywhere. To get onto a dusty green highway with the grass growing and the mud rutted would be an absolute pleasure if travelling by horse and cart. But we now have tarmac and we barely connect with the earth. It's such a shame. Of Oxted, the next village we came to, I have now no distinct recollection. Of Oxted, the next village we came to, I have no distinct recollection, except of a quaint and ancient half-timbered inn there, with an odd outside stairway, its signboard projecting boldly over the road. I can't read. I'm so sorry. I'm tripping over the words left, right, and centre. Proclaiming it to be the Bell at Oxted. We clearly are not going to get through this book without having to look at all these things. But this is what he did as he went along. Let's just go and see if we can find the Bell at Oxted, he says, trying to make... And see if the Bell at Oxted is quite what he says. The Bell Oxted. And they've called it the Old Bell on Godstone Road, just off the A25. I believe I've been here, but I will have a look. Yes, I have walked here, and there it is. There's the bell. And the thing is, I've been here with Mark English. We've walked round Oxted. I've got a video of this, us walking around Oxted, funnily enough. Let me just see, youtube.com, and somewhere Oxted Phobes, and here it is, villages along the A25, Oxted in Surrey, with Mark English. Now I'm just going to have to mute that to see if it will come up. Hello, I'm Richard Phobes.
Hello, Mark English. Oh.
And that's us in Oxted. There we are. Just mute it so it's not too much. But yeah, we go past that inn. Look at that. There's us. I'm just trying to see if we can see the inn telephone box. I'll put that link in the description. Copy that. And we have a little walk around the town there, and we comment and all those usual good stuff. So there it is. There's the link to the old Phobes thing. And Julia has found... here's a plaque to General Wolfe. And there it is. Well done, Julia. See? Look at that. And so that takes us back to there. Anyway, so marvellous. Right, that was the bell at Oxted. I lost the... No, it's not there. There it is. That's the bell, and that's where Mark and I walked down in that video. A little somewhere down there. I'm sure we go... No idea. There it is. There we are. There's us. Look at that. As if by magic. Why isn't that playing? Oh, it might be a picture. Anyway, doesn't matter. Enough of this self-indulgence. We don't want that. Right, sorry about that. If this is very irritating, do let me know, and I will just read the book. I've lost the page. I need a bigger bookmark, that's what I need. Right, anyway, at Oxford, next village, we came to the bell. It is significant how such an unpretentious specimen of old-time building should have impressed itself so much upon me that when all else in the village is forgotten, as though it were not, the old inn still remains plainly outlined in my mind's eye. Such is the power of the picturesque. I mean, it clearly impressed him, didn't it? It's a nice old pub, but there's so many of them. He must have seen so many like that. But there we go. For its sake, a famous artist delights to paint the primitive labourer's cottage. But whoever heard of an artist setting up his easel before a palace to portray it? A stretch of country neither remarkable for its beauty nor the reverse brought us to Godstone with its ancient hostelry. The White Hart, to wit, that according to tradition was a hostelry in the far-off days of Richard II, the White Hart couchant was the badge of the king, though this proves nothing. It certainly existed and flourished in the days of Elizabeth, and a goodly portion of Elizabethan work still remains. It is a rambling, old-fashioned and somewhat ramshackle house that has outlived much history. Now, I've been to Oxted as well with Mark English. We did the same. You can do the same. If you put Vobes in YouTube and Godstone, you'll come up with another YouTube video. I won't bother to do that for you. But and then I think we see that building in there. The ramshackled old place that has seen the pack horse, the coaches, the post chases come and go, the motor car arrive, and promises, in spite of its years, to outlive generations of travellers still unborn. Theodore Hook has made use of it in his novel Jack Bragg, and other well-known writers have immortalised it in their works, if memory serves me right. A board affixed to the exterior of the building bears the following description. Ye Old Inn, oh golly, clept White Hart, established in the reign of King Richard II, enlarged in the reign of ye, good Queen Bess, honoured by frequent visitors from her most gracious Majesty, Queen Victoria. The railway left the old inn high and dry for a time, but first the cycle and afterward the motor car more surely awoke it from its long sleep. The seeming impossible had happened, the resurrection of the road. See, it's interesting because this is the time, of course, when roads were just being introduced by the motor car and you could go. And now, of course, they're trying to get rid of cars, aren't they? And we have so many cars on the roads, and it's sort of like you shoot through these places, and the vans and the buses and the lorries and all of that, and now the scooters, the electric cars, the bicycles, and you barely have a chance to look at anything. The landlords of the country inns began to open wide their eyes with delight surprises, and forthwith began to refurbish their premises, not before they wanted it. I don't understand that sentence. Profitable customers had come their way again. The ostlers were at first none too sympathetic, but finding that the motor car meant money, and that soon the motor cars outnumbered the horses, even at an increasing rate, they philosophically accepted the situation, touched their forelegs as deferentially to the arriving motorist as to the horse driver, and pocketed their tips contentedly. So the ostler probably turned into garage mechanics and garages, and then, of course, fuel stations and all of that. The White Hart faces the village green and pond, a fact that adds to its pleasantness. All right, Godstone, the White Hart, here we come. Let's go and have a gander at it. We've been through there. Godstone's only up the road. So the White Hart, it'd be good if I could spell it correctly. Godstone. And here we go. And there's Bay Pond he's talking about. And there it is. Look at that. It's a nice building. And there's the pond. And I believe Mark and I started our video around about there. Look at all these cars, though. Look at them. The ostler would have gone mad. And there's the White Hart. We walked around all of this. Made a video. You can check it out on YouTube. Villages along. Same old thing. We go and have a look at all sorts of bits and bobs. I don't know. Is that the White Hart there? I don't know why I'm scrolling it. Anyway, you get the idea. Another little stroll around for the fun of it all. We're going to come to the end in a minute because we've been going 57 minutes, so I might have to do a part 2 on this. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to make these too long, and I've lost the... Why do I never put this bloody thing? Sorry about this. I've lost the... There it is. I must poke it out next time. Is anybody still watching? Right, so let's just get to the end of this bit. The White Hart faces the village green and pond, a fact that adds to its pleasantness. It is a genuine old-fashioned hostelry, whose walls, if they could only speak, might many a tale of bygone revelry unfold. For, if tradition may be relied upon, rare goings-on took place there in the merry days of old. As late as 1815, it is said that the regent, the Tsar of Russia, and many royal visitors stayed at the inn on their way to Blindley Heath, some 4 miles away, to witness a pugilistic encounter for the championship of England. That's boxing, isn't it? In these days of the commonplace, it attracts the traveller by its present picturesqueness as well as its time-gathered traditions. No lover of past days and past ways could pass if it unheeded by... These getting your mouth around these old-fashioned sentences is quite tricky. No lover of past days and past ways could pass it unheeded by, for age has fraught it with romance. But fully to appreciate the charm of such an old-world inn, it needs a weary wayfarer to approach it footsore and benighted, not dreaming of such good fortune, and to see the ruddy light streaming through the lattice window panes, and even a warmer glow that bespeaks of a hearty welcome, thrown athwart the roadway of the wide open door. a moment to be remembered, a sentence to be tripped over. Many a writer doth before and after Isaac Walton and Dr. Johnson's days has written long and lovingly in praise of the homely wayside hostelry. It is in truth well worth the toil of travel to find such a harbour of rest for the night. Do you object to talk about inns? It always seems to me to be very good talk, said Thackeray. Certainly it makes for cheerful remembrances. A good novel is full of inns, according to Beryl, and when I come to think of it, the novels that chiefly please me, such as those of Dickens, Stevenson and others, largely deal with inns. Having such high examples before me, I may perhaps be forgiven if I gossip every now and then about inns. I trust not over frequently, for the subject is tempting and inexhaustible. And there we go. We will go and leave Godstone shortly, but that is where I'm going to leave you at the end of part 1 on chapter 5. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. And an hour in on the show, I think that's all I can offer you tonight, as my throat is sore and sorely in need of a cuppa. Sean says, an ostler was traditionally a groom and stableman. That's correct, yes, who was employed in the stable to take care of the horses, usually at an inn. Yes, absolutely. And that's why I said that the ostler, when he saw the motor cars coming in, that profession would have probably changed to a, as I said, a garage attendant. And, they would have adapted to become motor mechanics and so on, as the coaching inns and the horse travel declined. But yes, in his earlier books, where he goes on a dog cart, he's often talking about the ostler taking charge of the horses and stuff. And I remember, where was I? I think in Littlehampton, down the road, when I was doing one of the Sussex border walks in my videos. I think it was Littlehampton. There was a hotel that's now been refurbished, but right at the end, this little shed that it was still marked on the map as the ostler's house or cabin or whatever, office. And you could see where now it was a junk room. I think they put the bins in it now, if I remember rightly. But that was the ostler's thing. And I remember going around looking at the ostler's thing and trying to imagine the stables and stuff. Anyway, there we go. Holly & Co. says, always good fun. Thank you, Richard. Pleasant evening. And Jane says, thank you for reading. I hope you have a good evening. And Jane says, thank you, Richard. I never tire of hearing you read and tripping over the words. So that's very kind of you. Well, I hope you enjoyed all of that. It was all good fun. And until next time, thank you for watching. And how do we switch this off? Somewhere in here. I forget how you do this. Oh, yeah. Is it here? No, it's not there. Oh, here it is. Thank you for watching. And top of the morning to you.